Nicole Smith
and Steve Kime
from Blood and Iron Martial Arts.
Today we're going to go over a fundamental aspect of martial arts, a concept we refer to as measure.
Now, measure is a little bit more than just calculating the length of something using a tool like a measuring tape or a yardstick.
Measure in martial arts is the knowledge of how far away you need to be from your opponent in order to land a significant strike.
Or how far away you need to be to avoid being hit. In order to master measure, first you need to master footwork. The distance you cover in a gathering, a passing, or an advancing step will determine the proximity to your opponent. And in order to use your measure properly, you need to be well versed in this.
The next aspect that will affect measure is the type of stance that you use. Here we see an upright, elevated stance. The amount of distance you can travel in this stance is going to be severely limited, meaning it will be slow and ineffective to enter your opponent's threatened area to land a strike, and equally as difficult to escape your opponent's threatened area if you need to defend. It will be more effective to assume a low stance. This will make you more nimble and you'll be able to travel a greater distance with each step, which will allow you to enter and exit your opponent's threatened area as effectively as possible. The second element we must consider with respect to measure is true edge versus false edge. Striking with a wrath cut will afford you a certain range, as you can see here with a strike to long point. With this cut, you will need to make sure your measure is at the ideal position in order to strike properly with the point of percussion. If you strike with the false edge, however, your measure will need to shift so that you are closer to your opponent in order to once again strike with the ideal point of percussion. So a false edge will have a shorter range than a true edge cut will have, meaning when used in combination with each other, a step is often required to land a proper false edge strike at the point of percussion.
One of our favorite ways to practice measure is the fingertip grill. You're going to get into your stance and face your opponent. You're going to touch fingertips. You drop your hands, and then one of us is going to take a step, passing step, advancing step, gathering step, whatever you like. And it's my job to close the distance and measure up again. The distance should be the same. By the way, leaning back or leaning forward is cheating.
Another drill that's more complicated that uses both sword work and footwork is as follows. I stand within measure of my opponent, and I do so by making sure that I can strike her without taking a step. Once I'm in measure, we move around each other. Eventually, my opponent stops. When my opponent stops, it is now my job to determine what I need to do to land a proper strike. Do I need to step forward? Do I need to do a passing step? Do I need to strike true edge? Do I need to strike false edge to land the proper point of percussion? Knowing to do these things in the moment is vital to winning a tournament match or a sparring match. There are many different true edge and false edge cuts and combinations with the longsword. Each one of them is going to have a slightly different degree of measure depending on which one you use.
And a taller fighter with longer arms is going to have a different measure than a shorter person would.
Understanding and controlling your measure can be the difference between a win or a loss in a sparring match or a tournament competition. We hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please like and subscribe.
And as always, a big thank you to our Patreon supporters. Without you, this wouldn't be possible.
If you enjoy the content that we present and want to join one of our live online classes, please click the link below.
And remember, if you don't put in the training, you won't get the result.